If you buy a 2026 pickup truck to tow your RV, you are not just buying a tow vehicle. You are paying $80,000 to $95,000 for a corporate surveillance system with a trailer hitch attached. Master mechanics who spend their careers diagnosing these trucks are flat out refusing to buy them as RV tow rigs. Not just because of the fragile twin-turbo engines or the 10-speed transmissions that hunt for gears on every grade. Because of what is hiding inside the dashboard and what it is doing to your insurance premiums without your knowledge or consent. How your new tow truck became a data collection device. To understand the trap, you have to understand how the truck industry shifted from selling you a machine to selling your behavior. Every new truck sold in the United States since approximately 2015 contains a cellular modem connected to the manufacturer's servers. Ford calls it FordPass Connect. General Motors calls it OnStar. Ram calls it Uconnect. The names are different, and the function is identical. Your truck is permanently connected to the internet, and everything you do behind the wheel is being logged, timestamped, and transmitted. Every hard brake event, every rapid acceleration, every merge onto the highway. Every time you drive 1 mile per hour over the posted limit while towing your fifth wheel through a construction zone. Every cold start, every extended idle at a campsite, every towing session on a mountain grade. The computer in your dashboard records all of it. It assigns it a risk classification, and it sends that information through a cellular connection to a manufacturer's server. That data does not stay there. General Motors has faced class action lawsuits for selling OnStar telemetry data, which are individual driving behavior records, to data brokers including LexisNexis and Verisk. Those companies compile your logged braking and acceleration patterns into a personal risk score. That risk score goes directly to your insurance company. You get a letter saying your annual premium just increased by $1,500 to $2,400. You call your agent, and they tell you it is because of your driving habits. You have not had a ticket in 5 years. You have not been in an accident, but your tow truck has been reporting everything you do, and the insurance company bought that report. Why RV towing makes the data scam uniquely dangerous. Here is what makes the data collection problem specifically devastating for RV owners. The driving behaviors that get logged as high-risk events by these algorithms are the exact behaviors that responsible RV towing requires. Hard braking with a loaded trailer behind you is not reckless driving. It is physics. A 14,000-pound fifth wheel does not stop the same way a passenger car does, and any driver who understands weight dynamics brakes earlier and harder than the algorithm expects from an unloaded vehicle profile. The algorithm does not know you have a trailer behind you when it classifies that brake event. It just logs a hard stop and marks it as risky behavior. Rapid acceleration to merge onto a highway while towing is not aggressive driving. It is the minimum required to safely enter traffic with a heavy trailer that demands more throttle to reach highway speed. Extended idle at a campsite, running the truck's climate system or charging systems for hours at a time, generates exactly the kind of engine behavior that gets flagged as abnormal operation. Every legitimate behavior of a responsible RV driver generates data that the insurance algorithm reads as elevated risk. You pay more. The insurance company profits. The manufacturer collects a fee from the data broker, and you never consented to any part of this chain because it was disclosed in a privacy policy that runs to 40 pages that no one reads at the dealership. The surveillance is not the worst part of it. The worst part is that the insurance scam is just the beginning of what the 2026 truck does to you. The kill switch mandate, what is actually coming in 2026. Buried inside the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act is a provision requiring all new passenger vehicles to be equipped with advanced driver monitoring technology, beginning with the 2026 model year. Automakers presented this to the public as an impaired driving safety feature. The engineering requirements tell a more complex story. The mandate requires a system that passively monitors driver performance, and that has the technical authority to limit or disable vehicle operation when the system determines the driver should not be driving. To comply, manufacturers are installing driver-facing cameras in dashboards and steering column assemblies. These cameras track eye movement, head position, and blink rate. Steering wheel sensors monitor your grip and input patterns. An algorithm running continuously calculates whether the system determines you are fit to operate the vehicle. If the algorithm concludes you are impaired, fatigued, or distracted, based on its interpretation of camera and sensor data, it has the authority to reduce engine power, bring the vehicle to a stop, or prevent the engine from starting. Now think about what this means specifically for the RV owner towing a heavy trailer on a remote route. A camera lens fogs with condensation on a cold mountain morning. The algorithm misreads reduced eye visibility as inattention. Your engine power drops to 40% while you are pulling a loaded fifth wheel down a 6% grade with the trailer pushing from behind. That is not a feature malfunction in a grocery store parking lot. That is a life safety event with real consequences, and there is no manual override the driver can engage. The remote road problem, where the system breaks down. The data dependency of modern tow trucks creates a second category of failure that does not get discussed in any dealer presentation. These systems require continuous connectivity to function correctly. Software updates, system calibrations, and driver monitoring algorithms are all dependent on cellular connectivity. In the locations where RV owners spend most of their time, dispersed camping on BLM land, remote national forest sites, and backcountry roads miles from the nearest cell tower, the connected systems that your truck depends on are operating on degraded data or no data at all. A 2024 survey by the Auto Care Association found that over 50% of independent repair shops report turning away business because they cannot access vehicle computers to diagnose and repair customer vehicles due to proprietary software and manufacturer data restrictions. This means that when your 2026 tow truck has a system fault on a Friday afternoon at a campground in rural Montana, the independent shop in the nearest town cannot help you. They do not have the proprietary diagnostic access required to read the fault code and reset the system. You are waiting for a flatbed to a dealership service department that is booked 2 weeks out. Your RV trip is over. Your trailer is parked at the campground. And the truck you paid $90,000 for is on a flatbed because a software system that requires connectivity could not function without it. Mechanics who understand these systems refuse to put themselves in that position, and they have a specific alternative they are quietly moving toward. The ghost fleet, what mechanics are actually buying. Instead of walking into the financial trap at the modern dealership, the mechanics and long-haul RV towers who understand these systems are quietly building what they call the ghost fleet. These are the specific pre-telemetry trucks from the era before the cellular modem, the driver-facing camera, and the algorithm-controlled throttle. If you buy a Ford F-250 Super Duty with the 7.3-liter Power Stroke diesel built between 1999 and 2003, you are buying a truck that is completely off the surveillance grid. There is no cellular modem pinging a server in Dearborn. There is no driver-facing camera tracking your blink rate. There is no algorithm grading your towing behavior to sell to an insurance company. When you press the accelerator, a physical cable opens the throttle body. The engine runs on air, fuel, and diesel combustion physics. The transaction between your right foot and the truck's power output is entirely mechanical. No one can push an over-the-air update to your 2001 F-250 and reduce its towing capacity. No one can remotely engage a kill switch because a condensation-fogged camera misread your eye position at 5 a.m. A truck built before 2005, a GM 2500 HD with the 6.0-liter L96 Vortec iron block, carries the same freedom from the surveillance infrastructure. The cockroach engine, the one mechanics call unkillable, does not report your driving behavior to anyone. It just pulls your trailer and keeps pulling it. The math that mechanics run is straightforward. A well-maintained pre-telemetry tow truck purchased in the used market for $18,000 to $30,000 requires zero monthly subscription fees, generates zero data that can be sold to insurance companies, carries zero risk of a software-triggered engine shutdown in a remote location, and can be fully serviced by any competent independent mechanic without manufacturer software access. The only thing it costs more of is fuel. Fuel is cheaper than a $2,000 annual insurance premium increase generated by your own truck's surveillance data. Fuel is cheaper than a flatbed tow to a dealership service department because your algorithm-dependent truck cannot function without cellular connectivity in the backcountry. What this means for your insurance right now. If your truck insurance premiums have increased significantly in the past 2 years and you have not had a ticket or an accident, you are not imagining the connection. Car and truck insurance costs have risen more than 40% since 2019. Broader inflation and rising repair costs are part of that story. The telemetry. Flowing from connected vehicles through data brokers to insurance carriers is a documented and growing part of how individual premiums are now being calculated. Usage-based insurance programs add another layer. They are marketed as discount opportunities for safe drivers who voluntarily allow monitoring of their driving behavior. In practice, they involve behavioral data that gets incorporated into risk profiles used to justify rate increases rather than reductions in many documented cases. The information is applied in ways that were technically disclosed in terms of service documents that run to thousands of words and often require a legal background to interpret. These programs are expanding as standard offerings across every major carrier. Your connected truck is feeding into that system whether you explicitly enrolled in a usage-based program or not, because the manufacturer sold your data before you ever saw a telematics enrollment form. If you own a 2016 or newer truck with OnStar, FordPass Connect, or any equivalent manufacturer connectivity system, your driving behavior has a market value that is being realized without your participation in the transaction. The automotive and RV truck industry has shifted from selling you a machine to selling your behavior. A 2026 tow truck is not just a vehicle with reliability problems, fragile turbo engines, gear hunting transmissions, and payload calculations that put RV families into overloaded configurations before the trailer is even connected. It is also a data collection endpoint that generates a financial product from your driving behavior and sells that product to entities that use it to raise your costs. The surveillance infrastructure, the kill switch authority, and the software dependency that locks out independent repair are not separate problems. They are the same business model operating at different points in the ownership relationship. Paying $25,000 for a well-maintained pre-telemetry tow truck that answers only to your right foot, that can be serviced by any competent independent mechanic, and that carries no cellular modem reporting your towing behavior to an insurance data broker is not a step backward. It is the most rational financial decision available to an RV owner who has run the actual numbers. If you own an analog tow truck without the surveillance infrastructure, hold it, maintain it. Do not trade it in for a subscription to someone else's data operation. If this changed how you think about your next tow vehicle purchase, subscribe to this channel. We cover the engines, the surveillance systems, and the financial structures that determine whether your RV towing setup works for you or against you. The next investigation is already running. Stay off the grid and keep turning your own wrenches.